The Civil Partnerships Bill hasn't been debated in Parliament yet, but it's caused plenty of heat already. Just introducing it was a headache for Andrew Fraser. But there are headaches on both sides. Labor MPs will get a conscience vote. Some of them may not support the bill. On the other hand, the LNP's decision to vote no when the time comes has left Campbell Newman open to accusations of hypocrisy, given his public support for gay marriage. To discuss this week's events, I spoke earlier to political reporter Chris O'Brien at Parliament House about what's been a fascinating parliamentary week. Chris, the Civil Unions Bill hasn't been debated yet, but it's already caused a ruckus in Parliament.
Yes, David, although it started quietly.
The Honourable Leader of the House.
I seek leave to move a motion without notice.
A motion without notice. Our ears prick up. What's this, we ask? What unexpected piece of parliamentary procedure?
Leave is granted. The Honourable Leader of the House.
Mr Speaker, I move that so much of the standing and sessional orders be suspended to enable the member for Mount Cootha to introduce a private member's bill at 7:30 tonight.
Aha! After revealing to 7:30 Queensland last week his push for civil unions, Andrew Fraser introduced the bill this week.
But that required a change in parliamentary schedule.
Yes, which the opposition resisted.
Mr Speaker, there is no reason for the standing orders of this parliament to be suspended for the Treasurer to indulge in a cheap political stunt aimed at saving his own seat from the looming state election. Mr Speaker, the standing orders of this House give ample opportunity to every member to bring forward a private member's bill.
David, the crossbenchers didn't agree with the timing either.
We would like to talk about hospital waiting lists, rising fuel costs, etc. There are many life and death issues, and this matter should be discussed, but not in such a rushed manner.
Like others have said, I don't deny the Treasurer, the Deputy Premier, the opportunity to introduce the bill, but to introduce it under the same regime as every other private member's bill.
Regardless of the political games being played in this House, Mr Speaker, it hurts me to think that there's grown men crying out there because there's coal seam gas industry and the important issues in this state, Mr Speaker, where families cannot put the food on the table, and instead we're putting a private member's bill before the House, which is complete insult and an abuse of the parliamentary time in this place, Mr Speaker.
Remember, this part of the brawl wasn't about civil partnerships. This was about introducing a bill for civil partnerships. The debate about civil partnerships is yet to come.
Let's not misunderstand the confected mirage that's being put forward by those opposite as they seek, Mr Speaker.
Order. Now, those on my left will cease interjecting. The Honourable Treasurer.
As they seek to hide behind this charade to prevent the grand total of 10 minutes of this Parliament's time this evening to put forward a bill into the Parliament to be debated in accordance with the way in which this Parliament operates.
But the Premier wants this issue dealt with before the end of the parliamentary year.
Yes, and Labor MPs will get a conscience vote, and some of them have misgivings. The LNP will all vote no. So there's controversy on both sides. Why is Andrew Fraser introducing this, and why now? He flat out denies it has anything to do with trying to get Green support. And why isn't the LNP allowing a conscience vote when Campbell Newman supports gay marriage? They say it's because they think this is a stunt.
Why is the Premier allowing her deputy and the state's Treasurer to focus on political distractions, such as his private member's bill, instead of helping Queensland families who are struggling to cope with the skyrocketing electricity bills and out-of-control cost of living because of the policies of this government?
Is it a distraction from more pressing issues?
Well, the Premier says, David, the government is capable of doing more than one thing at a time.
I'm very proud to lead a team of very talented people who can walk and talk and chew gum at the same time. People who can put in place sound economic policy without leaving behind the social policy that matters to the people of our state.
It's an interesting argument, this business about diversions and distractions. It gets levelled at the media sometimes too. It basically implies that only one issue can be dealt with or scrutinised at a time. But David, I can tell you it's been a very busy week in Parliament. For example, the House voted to extend the Cape York welfare reforms. Legislation was passed covering the $10,000 grant for new homes. AIDAN McClindon's push for restoring the upper house was debated. and rejected. He was the only one who voted in favour of it, actually. A biosecurity bill was introduced. Strategic cropping laws were also introduced. And legislation was introduced to allow interstate informants to be used in organised crime investigations. Only 2 more sitting weeks to go, in fact. They'll be very busy too.
And after that, the election guessing game heats up again.
We as members of parliament and also the greater community need some clarification. When is it likely there will be a state election? Is it likely to be a state election? Members may laugh and joke. The reality is that we want the community to be involved and to investigate and consider a very important matter. So my comment is, would the Leader of Government Business please consider the issue of the date for the next election?
The Leader of the House, I'm sure you've got everybody's undivided attention.
I'm sure there's going to be a great revelation here.
So, no election date revealed. David, I can confirm it will be sometime between now and next June.
Well, that narrows it down. Thanks, Chris.
Bye, David.